I never see the day when I'd make this video. As you all know, I'm not, one who believes in alien visitation to this earth in the traditional sense that things like the Anunnaki or the Danican idea that like alien beings have come to this earth in the past in spaceships. To me, that's always been from the same world as fairies and that kind of thing, and that's just a modern interpretation of it. The Anunnaki thing and Stitch and stuff is pretty much easily debunkable straight off the bat. As you know, you've often heard me say I've never been adverse to the idea of alien visitation. Now, I probably shouldn't be making this video because I'll probably live to regret it, but I'm not right at the moment. I know you say you shouldn't put your feelings out on the internet. I had a very strange experience before Samhain. I went to Ballymacgibbon Court Cairn, which is a very strange, very ancient structure in County Mayo, just to make one of my little films, one of my little vignettes on megaliths, and something very, very strange happened there. A couple of days later it was Halloween, Samhain, and I had a bit to drink, but not a lot, and it made me extremely drunk. It affected me badly, mainly because I think I was going through a shift in consciousness, and I did the worst thing possible, although it's gone now, is I had some alcohol. Not been right since. I can't stand looking at social media. I can't stand a break from all that. I can't deal with the world news. I can't even deal with people at the moment. That's not me at all. I'm Mr. Sociable. I'm Mr. It's not depression. I've never suffered from depression, thank God. I've never had that kind of person. I've had bad times, bad days, but they were usually triggered by something. I've never had that. I don't suffer from anxiety. I'm a strong person by nature, a problem solver by nature. I'm the one in the gang who's the first to defend and the last one to run away. That's my nature. I'm not like that right now. I've changed. Something's happening now. Something has happened to it. Into it for a while. Got some scaffolding to do some work on my house on the roof, and I've been up there on my own, and it's expensive to rent it, and I can't do it. Raining. So I just came in and I just sit around and I drink cups of tea, and it's just a weird experience. I told you about this vision on top of the thing. Basically, how I've been saying that, and not me, but it's a well-known thing, go back to Jungian psychology, and you've heard people like Terence McKenna say it. Artists have a vision, and artists are almost like pathfinders. See the future before it happens. It doesn't matter, painters or writers, they see the vision, they see the future in a kind of an allegory through their artwork. Colin Wilson back in the day wrote a book called The Space Vampires. Space Vampires was about a long spaceship that was made of a dense, heavy rock-like material filled with metal. It came into the solar system, and it was filled with basically vampires that came to Earth and altered human consciousness. Lo and behold, we've recently had this thing called Oumuamua. In Polynesian or Hawaiian means pathfinder or scout. Shaped just like the thing in both the Space Vampires and in the movie Life Force. This thing's absolutely an alien craft. It's not a natural. Now, I know a lot about astronomy. My bookshelves are full of astronomy since I was a kid. I've had a great love of astronomy and a great fascination with it. In fact, at one time I considered studying astronomy. My credits weren't good enough to get me in there. This thing is not natural in terms of how it behaved. It came into the solar system, and it accelerated enormously at a high speed towards the sun. It accelerated deliberately in order to compensate for the sun's gravitational field. Like, it didn't come in at the same speed. This does not happen. It seems to have come from the direction of the constellation of Lyra. Traveled to about 1/8 to 1/6 of the speed of light. It accelerated to it. On a 2-axis rotation like a gyroscope. It's made of dense metal. That's not a meteorite or an asteroid. It didn't produce a gaseous plume like a comet should. The plume would be gases or materials on the volatile materials on the surface of an asteroid or a comet are ignited by the sun, and they leave the plume behind it. That didn't happen. That's just alone that is so bizarre. It left the solar system as fast as it came in. It shouldn't change direction because it wasn't under the control of the gravitational pull of the sun. It sped up to compensate for that. It deliberately knew it was coming near a star, and then it sped itself up to deal with the gravitational pull, change direction, spun on a two-directional axis and then left. That is an intelligently controlled vehicle. That is not natural. Okay? So, unless the laws of physics and Newtonian physics is completely wrong, and we know we do have to live with kinds like quantum physics and not, that was an alien spaceship. There's no doubt. I've spent the last few days going through everything in my head, and I haven't watched any of the conspiracy videos. I don't watch those channels, you know that. I don't watch alien channels. 99.9% is full of shit. I don't do that kind of thing. Or they're just wild speculation, meant honestly by decent people. That thing is intelligently controlled. You can't explain that, what those things that happen. Now then we must ask ourselves, why it behaved like it did. Also not a comet, it's not on a large elliptical orbit going out into the outer solar system and then returning out to the Oort cloud and back. It's not that. It's an interstellar travelling object that behaved intelligently upon coming into the solar system. Too far away, they tell us, to see with the best telescopes, or either satellite, radio telescopes, or earthbound. The artist illustrations, the official ones, show something that looks like a turd, which I believe is deliberate. That thing, for all we know, and the only way they can actually tell the shape it is, it's 10 times longer than it is wider, is as it's rotating on its two axes. It's flickering. An idea of the length, and they get an idea of the width every time it flickers in the sunlight. That thing could be perfectly smooth, like a gigantic metal beam. Putting that image out there of this thing that looks like a turd. And that's why you must be very wary of this. I see this in ancient archaeology all the time. They will show complex structures made of stone, and then they will surround them with mud huts or people dressed in animal skins to suggest that it was primitive. I'm seeing the same thing here. Artists predict these things. They have insight because they almost live in a different world of consciousness. And I have had wild dreams lately. And one of the dreams was, and it was happening last 2 days, I never have repetitive dreams, that something has come from space that has seeded the planet, or seeded the earth. It's like the panspermia idea, but not a comet. It's this thing, whatever this alien controlled object is. That would explain its sudden speed up. And its change in its bidirectional axis, its two rotational axis. What would that be ideal for? Spreading, distribution, firing things off, scattering. What if that, when it entered into our solar system, planted the same, and this is what came to me in a dream, look, it could be complete bullshit, I don't know. All I know is I haven't been right lately. What I thought was a shift in consciousness is starting to be something much more, I don't know, it's different. I've never really experienced this before. I can't even talk to my friends at this point. And it's not a nervous breakdown. I'm functional, I'm doing things, I'm working, I'm getting things done. It's not like I'm locked away in a state of depression, nothing like that at all. It's almost like I'm dreaming where I am now. This thing has put something into the solar system that will eventually rain down upon this planet, with the intention of affecting the intelligent life, us humans, because it probably already created us or upgraded us or altered us before. Does this make sense? No, but it also makes sense as well. A cursory look around you in recent times has shown you that something is not right with humanity. The so-called, all these people that think they're 34 genders, all these people who are mutilating their bodies, who want transgender operations on their babies, all these people who are losing their minds, are they the foreshadowing of a shift in human states, of what we are psychologically that's coming? Or are they even things like Mothman appearing in Chicago. You have lots of weird things going on. The other night, the most fantastic sunset I've ever seen. Emerald lime green aurora. And things feel optional right now, and people are behaving as things are optional, as if humanity is optional. You have the rise of the machines. So there's several ways of looking on this. The first is the sinister thing, like you had in Colin Wilson's The Space Vampires and the movie Life Force. It's something to destroy us, or a parasite from another alien world that's going to go into us and become us, like a seed, like an impregnation. It could be some kind of drone type things that are coming out of this thing. That could be coming out of this thing. I have to keep watching myself here. It could be a positive thing, like we will change as beings and we'll get the ability to do things like interstellar travel. Maybe they are us in the future and we are them. I mean, all the possibilities and all the speculation is here. Oumuamua is an alien's intelligently controlled device that is not natural. It could have been something maybe that we sent out in the future and has come back in the past, maybe to do something now. I just find it interesting that in recent times, in the year leading up to this, we've had strange behaviours in human beings. It's almost like Lovecraft was probably right. And I think, maybe this is the Lovecraftian thing coming as well. Maybe this is the colour out of space. I don't know. All I know is that a lot of me and a lot of other people are having a difficult time right now, who normally are the kinds of people who don't have difficult times. And that's strange. And even like creatively, I've started painting in a completely different new way. I still do my kind of like landscapes, my dreamscapes, but I've started doing other things that's come out of nowhere, and they're completely freshly developed concepts. You cannot say that all of this is a coincidence, because human consciousness and the reality of the world is very, very different. But I'm absolutely 100% certain that Oumuamua is an alien spacecraft, probe, whatever. It is not, until better information comes along, it has not been explained. It is not something that behaved natural. And the aliens have arrived. The big question now is, are they coming now? Scattered by the directional rotation of that intelligently controlled object. It's happened.